head into the Golden Game, we take a look back on the individual matches leading to it. Enzo Angles starting off 2024, how he's left off the first half of this season with a win. An exciting match between Dan Liu and Bastien Dupont, with Dan overpowering Dupont to get the win. The doubles, as we've seen on so many occasions before, going in favor of the Carolina Gold Rush's favorite pair of Hong Lin and Enzo Angles. And of course, this matchup between Timothy Wong and Jeremy Hazin, it was Tim coming out on top there. And then the match we just saw, Romain Laurence found his forehand form and stayed in control throughout the second and third. Look back at that great retrieve from him to finish things out here. But ultimately, going into the Golden Game, it's the Carolina Gold Rush who will start with a 3-0 lead. So like you said, Evan, it's going to be interesting to see if the coaches
Okay, we've got Carolina Gold Rush is up 9-6, Chicago Wind. Carolina will be starting with a 3-point advantage. Since you're trailing, Coach, you'll be making the first pick to play 1 point.
Timothy Wong.
Timothy Wong is your first choice. Who's your number 1, Coach?
Jeremy Hazin.
Jeremy Hazin is your number 1. And your number 2?
Enzo.
Enzo Angles is your number 2. Damien Provost is your number 2, and your number 3?
Alex.
Alex Kazaku, your number 3. Your 3?
Romain.
Romain Lorenz is your 3, and your 4?
Dupont.
Bastien Dupont is your 4, and your 4?
Emily Wong.
Emily Tan?
Emily Tan.
Emily Tan is your 4, and your 5 is Dan Liu? Dan Liu, and that makes your 5. What do we leave? Bastien Dupont.
No, Hong Lin.
Hong Lin, excuse me. Okay, good luck, coaches.
There we have it, a good handshake.
So it felt status quo through the first 3 slots, and then a little bit of a curveball with Eric Owens putting Emily Tan in the 4th spot. Got a cross-gender matchup with Tan against Dupont, and then Liu and Hong Lin. Do you like that tweak from Chicago?
Yeah, I think I do. I mean, there's a lot of pressure in the Golden Game. Bastien Dupont is a slower spinner in a lot of occasions, so if Emily can put the pressure on, she could do okay in that matchup.
Wong and Hazin for 1 point. And it goes to Chicago. That's exactly what Eric Owens wanted, putting Timothy Wong in that spot. Enzo took 2 out of 3 from Damien earlier today. Provost won the first game. Angles took games 2 and 3. In terms of Golden Game productivity in Rock Hill, Enzo Angles played 30 points. He won 21 of them, 70%. But he's 0 for 1 so far today. Carolina's 3-0 lead has vanished. After everything we have seen over the past 2¼ hours, Matt, it all comes down to this. And Chicago has scored 4 straight points to take the lead back from Carolina. 4-0 sweep for Damien Provost over Enzo Angles. Did not see that coming.
I think this makes the second half of the order now all the more interesting. That is a huge result from Damien Provost to take 4 in a row against Enzo here in the Golden Games.
Maybe it's happened once, but I struggle to remember a time where Enzo lost 4 straight points in a Golden Game. He's just been that reliable, that steady. The #1 player in the league, without a doubt. 6 in a row for Chicago and a timeout taken by Alex Yang.
And we know it's not in Chinese this time because Roland Lorenz, his Chinese is too good for Alex Yang.
Very quick word from Yang to Lorenz, not wanting to take the full 60 seconds that he could take with the timeout. Right back to the table we go. Great stuff from Lorenz. Carolina snapped Chicago's 6-0 run.
It's interesting to see the proximity of the teams to the bench. Carolina Gold Rush a row back behind their chairs. Wind right up on the court.
There's a little bit more space to bounce around behind the bench as opposed to in front of it, perhaps. You know, right side of your screen, Carolina bench totally empty. Those are good seats. Tremendous effort from Lorenz. He takes 3 straight after the timeout.
You know, for that shorter timeout with very little said, pretty impressive fight back there from Roman Lorenz. And now we will see the first change up here in the Golden Game order.
Pont and Tan, and Emily Tan takes the first point.
Emily Tan taking deep for a spinny Chiquita, 6 serving 7.
See how that slower spin style is playing into Emily Tan's style, where she's up at the table blocking, looking for flat drives. DuPont's got to keep the ball low.
Strong return from Bastion, and the Frenchman puts Carolina back up 1.
Second serve for Emily Tan.
Better serve that time from Tan. It was shorter, more effective, and she splits the 4 points against DuPont. And now a couple of pen holders. Hong Lin versus Dan Liu. There have not been too many instances of a pair of pen holders going head-to-head on the table. MLTT so far this year.
I genuinely think this might be the first one. It's neck and neck here in the Golden Game, 9 points each.
9 points apiece serves with Dan Liu.
I think so much is going to hinge upon the next round matchup between Damien and Enzo. Right here, it's Dan Liu that makes a big impression against a player that's really been one of the most effective players in the league in the Golden Game. Eric Owens making, I think, a good decision there to change up the order.
Hazine and Wong back at the top of the order. If we do get to the ultimate golden point at 20-all, it would be these two that would decide it. There have only been 5 ultimate golden points in 52 golden games so far in the young history of Major League Table Tennis. Chicago was involved in the very first, and it did not end well for the Wind, as Ojo's mojo was too much. Did not catch, and Wong departs with a 2-point lead.
This matchup, I feel, could make all the difference in how the end result plays out.
Provost certainly not intimidated going against the #1 player. Golden sweep, 4 straight points earlier in this golden game. Excellent serve from Angles, and he's back on track. And Carolina had the 3-point lead. Chicago erased it with 6 consecutive points. And we're tied again, 13 apiece.
This is where Enzo starts to show his leadership.
13 points apiece tied up in the serve with Damian Provost.
Chicago still has a timeout it could use here in the golden. To let. How about this turnaround? Provost took 4 straight from Angles earlier, and now Angles responding, looking for a golden sweep of his own. And before this last point, these 2 players will play. Timeout, Chicago. Let's listen in as Eric Owens chats with Damian Provost.
You're good.
Both play for Carolina Gold
This point. Forget everything else.
in the lead. After this golden game, I know a lot of people are going to get pictures.
It evens out, right? You got a 4-0 the first time, so it's okay.
To check out the rankings within the league. 2 of the top 3.
Here's the thing with Coach Owens' logic.
And it's because they play so well in
You're down 3-0 at the start. If you play even, you're not going to win. You need to do better than splitting their points. Damian knows that. He's got a chance to go 5-3 against Angles in the golden game and tie this thing up 14-all if he can win this point. But Angles shows why he's #1 with a huge lefty forehand winner.
That was pretty spotless for a serve receive. Big celebration from Enzo Angles. So the Carolina Gold Rush get themselves back into the lead. And we're back with Romain Laurence.
4 more points for these 2.
Kazaku gets up over the table with that forehand. You know, going back to the timeouts that we've seen from these coaches, I think one of the things that helps mark a good coach is knowing when to speak and knowing when to say less.
Kazaku brings Chicago back level. 0-0, game to 6 right now to decide the first match here in 2024. 16 points in the standings, up for grabs in these next 6 points.
Oh, such a good heavy push from Laurence out on the wide angle. Kazaku managed to put a lot of spin on that for such a short backswing.
3 in a row for the Romanian. Oh, and it's a golden sweep! Kazaku, clutch!
Pressure is on here for Bastien Dupont.
15 serving 17.
Serving to Tan. Good start for Bastien.
Good decision by him, predicting a push receive. Add a little topspin variation. This time Tang goes for the flip, but a little awkward timing off the net.
This has been one of the most riveting Golden games we've seen. Back and forth, the momentum changing hands. And that's 3 in a row for DuPont, answering Kazaku's rally. Hong Lin and Dan Liu will take the table after this next point. Will it be tied or will Carolina go up by 2? Tan salvages the last point she'll play today. 18 all. 4 points here for Lin and Liu. Hazin and Wang waiting in the wings.
That big forehand from Dan Liu could be what makes the difference here.
Chicago has never beaten Carolina in a team match. That could change. Moments from now, Dan Liu delivers 2 massive forehands to set up match point.
To win the team contest.
It's all over. For the first time, Chicago takes down Carolina. And the win begin 2024 on the right note.
The wind has taken down all of the building.
What an outstanding performance from the Chicago Wind.